Hi guys, my name's Emma and let's talk spooky stuff. So today I want to talk about the remake of It, so let's get started. Normally I wouldn't rant on too long about my opinion of something. This is because I like to be really subjective on this channel. That's why I like to put in you would like if you like this, and try to relate things to other movies, because then you guys will have a better idea of what you like. I just think horror is so subjective and I don't know everything, so who am I to tell you what is good and what's not? It's your opinion, of course. But on this occasion I have got a request from Jesper in the comments, who is a fellow horror lover and wants to know what my expectations of It will be. Going a little further, he wants to know what I would do if I was to remake It, which I'll get to. But first, let's do a little breakdown of what we know so far. So believe it or not, the It remake was announced way back in 2009, and they were rewriting the screenplay since then. So this has been forever in the works. They also hinted back in 2009 that the new script would be set in modern times, so from like the 80s to now, unlike the old script that was set in the 50s to the 80s. We also know that the director has changed at least once due to clashes with the studio with artistic vision. At the moment we have Andy Muschietti. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, I really hope so, I'm really sorry if I just butchered that. And he is the director of Mama, which I liked. I read just today, which is the 19th of July when I'm filming this, that they're reworking the script yet again. It's pretty much impossible to keep up with what is rumors and what is true with all the changes of this. So this is what I know right now, and if it's wrong, please forgive me. Talking about what we know right now, we also know that Will Poulter has taken the role of Pennywise, and Tim Curry, bless his soul, has actually said it's a wonderful part and given his blessing. Keep in mind with this that Will Poulter is 3 years and 2 days to the exact date younger than me. So he is 22. So it's definitely gonna bring a new element having a young actor playing Pennywise. So before we get into what I think that the remake should be like, let's do a little recap of what we know about It and Pennywise, just so we know where we're standing. I wanna make it really clear that I have not read It, the book. I do love Stephen King and I have read plenty of his books. I'm actually doing a challenge at the moment. One of you guys recommended that I do a movie versus book challenge of one of Stephen King's movies. You'd know which book I'm doing if you follow me on Instagram. Anyway, keep your eyes peeled for that in the future. So unlike other clowns, Pennywise is actually no John Wayne Gacy. He's actually not even a clown, and he is not even human. He is classified in the horror world as being a creature. In the book he is referred to as male halfway through, and then they talk about him being female, I believe. So obviously he's actually none of these things. He is like an entity, a creature, fear itself. What I think is really interesting and what they could touch on is that he has never revealed his true form. One thing I particularly like about the background and the story of It is the timeline they have of every time he's awoken and gone back into hibernation. So I'm gonna leave that below if you guys want to check it out. It talks about things that are really general to the time period, which is quite interesting. Penny's abilities are shape-shifting, telekinesis, illusions, and weather changing. He's also mentioned in Grey Matter, Dreamcatcher, the Tommyknockers, 11, 22, 63, and Insomnia. Finally, how would I like it to be remade? Well, first things first, I like to keep my expectations of horror movies very low. This way it either surprises me or I'm not too let down. So my expectations for this one are quite low. But if it has any of these aspects, I'd be really interested to see how it turns out. So one thing I really like about Stephen King's stories is it's all about friendships and coming of age and having strength and being brave and the bond between people. I think this will be really stripping back, because in the 70s and the 80s, they have that kind of coming of age kind of films where it just feels so natural. Now, not so much. People are texting each other, social media gets in the way. So the way it's interpreted will be a little bit tricky. It might be better told from a different side. So it might be better from the perspective of Pennywise himself or It being rewoken and going back to sleep. So I was thinking, instead of having that timeline that they just refer back to about every time he's rewoken and he's gone back into hibernation, maybe they could start the film like that and show a little bit of what happened back in the day, and then also make it very modern. So things like school shootings, discovery of pedophile rings, things like that that are very modern, maybe some plane crashes, some natural weather disasters, things that we can really relate to in the current times. This could be done in a title sequence. It could be done in like a little montagey way with the titles coming up at the very start, so you kind of have that backstory. They have to make it more relatable to our time, and I think that's a good way of doing it, showing it from a different perspective, kind of like with Rob Zombie's Halloween. It's shown from a different perspective in a way, and change it so it's not a complete copy of the original, because otherwise why bother? Also with the coming of age and the bravery and the kids bonding, I really hate to think about that in this time. I'm sure kids bond every day, and I don't mean it like that. I just don't know how to show it. It's not like kids are out there riding their bikes and, you know, skimming pebbles across the lake together. So I think it's really important to play up the outcast effect on this. So all of the kids in the original are a little bit of outcasts. I think that they should really play that up. Make sure they're a bunch of kids that are really from different backgrounds, culturally, economically, just completely mash these kids up together and throw them together and see what happens. I think this would make it a little bit more real and a little bit more believable than, you know, like a Breakfast Club 80s type situation where everyone, you know, like the school jock and the pretty girl and the loser kid come and hang out together and they become happy family. It doesn't work like that. You gotta make it real. And speaking of the director, I'm a little bit worried about the overplayingness of special effects. Although in Mama, I do think the special effects were quite creepy, but they were very in your face. I really hope they pull it back a little bit. I mean, it would be great if he's still doing the sewer scene and things like that. But you know, with this movie, you don't really need special effects in the whole start part until like the very end when they're like facing their demons. There's no point, and I don't want it to be overplayed. And as for the story, I don't know. I don't know where they should take it. I think that they should play true to the original, but make sure they're interpreting it in a modern way that is realistic. That is what I want. I want a realistic version of it with a little bit more on the background of Pennywise, it awakening and going back into hibernation, and just make him so much more grittier, which will make it so much scarier. Overall, the remake is not just based on the acting abilities, the set design, and the directing. It's really, really heavily based on that script. And I really hope they get it right, or they just do something interesting with it. That's all I ask. Hope you guys enjoyed this. It was a little bit different, but it was requested. I hope I did an okay job. Let me know in the comments down below, and let me know what you'd like to see in the remake of it. I'd love to hear your theories. I hope you guys are having a great day. I'll see you later in the week for another Horror Around the World. Stay spooky. Bye. I didn't think I'd like this movie as much as I did. It is so funny from start to end, and it's actually kind of scary at the same time. But watching people just off their face drunk running away from this monster, they don't act the way you think they will. It's so funny. And here it goes. How would I like to see it remade? Well, first things first, I'm the realist. Kidding, we don't all like Iggy here.